They said she was useless, a barren woman who brought nothing but shame. But when the DNA test was opened, the truth shook an entire family to the core. Sometimes, the loudest accuser is the one hiding the darkest secret. This is the story of Zora, the woman who was humiliated, insulted, and broken until fate revealed a truth that silenced everyone. Zora sat quietly on the wooden chair in the family courtyard, her hands trembling as she folded a piece of cloth that didn't need folding. The sun was slowly dipping behind the tall palm trees, casting long shadows that seemed to creep through her heart. She had married the love of her life, Fidel, with the hope of building a peaceful home. Instead, she had found herself drowning inside a storm she never caused. His mother, Madame Esch, never hid her hatred for her. From the first day she stepped into the family house, Esch's eyes pierced her like sharp blades. "Look at her," Esch barked on that first day, throwing her arms in disgust. "A fragile little thing with nothing to offer. Fidel, you should have married a woman with strength. Not this useless girl." Zora had lowered her eyes, fighting tears that burned like fire. She wanted to defend herself, to tell the woman she was more capable than she looked. But she stayed silent, hoping that love would soften the bitterness. Unfortunately, every passing day only poured more fuel on Esch's cruelty. When months turned into years without a child, Esch began a relentless war. "I knew it," she would shout across the compound. "This one cannot even bring a baby. She is as empty as a broken pot." Fidel tried to stand by his wife, but his voice grew weak as the pressure from relatives increased. Soon, he started avoiding her eyes, returning home late, giving short answers, and sleeping on the far edge of the bed. Zora cried silently at night, the sound trapped in her throat. She prayed for strength, begging the heavens to give her at least one chance to silence her accusers. But she never imagined that the truth, when revealed, would shake the entire family beyond repair. The day everything changed began like any other, with Esch's voice echoing through the compound like thunder. Zora had just finished sweeping the front yard when she heard Esch yelling again, louder and sharper than ever. "Fidel, I am tired of pretending. As long as that barren woman lives here, our lineage is finished. You must take another wife." Zora froze, her breath collapsing inside her chest. She felt the ground spin beneath her feet. Before she could escape, Esch stormed toward her and pointed a trembling finger directly at her forehead. "Tell me, Zora," she spat. "Why should we keep you? What use are you? A wife who cannot carry a child is worse than a curse." Ziora's lips quivered. "Mother Esch, please. I am trying. I want a child more than anyone. Please be patient with me." "Patient?" Esch shrieked. "Do you think patience will give this family an heir? Useless woman." Fidel stepped out from the doorway, his face pale. "Mother, that is enough," he whispered. But even he sounded tired, as if his heart had already surrendered. That night, Fidel informed Zora that they would visit a fertility clinic the next morning for tests. She hoped it would finally calm the storms. She held his hand gently and whispered, "Maybe this will end the pain." Fidel sighed. "I hope so, Z. I really hope so." Neither of them knew that the truth waiting on the other side of that test would uproot every secret buried in the family, truths that would tear open wounds deeper than childlessness could ever create. And while Zora prayed for a miracle, fate was preparing a revelation that would shake everyone to their knees. The clinic waiting room smelled of antiseptic and quiet tension. Couples sat with stiff shoulders and desperate eyes, each carrying their own secret pain. Zora squeezed Fidel's hand, but he gently pulled away, pretending to check his phone. Her heart stung like she had been slapped. She wondered if he already blamed her for everything. When the doctor called them in, Zora felt the walls close around her. They underwent several tests, blood samples, and evaluations. She remained hopeful, believing that even if the results hurt her, at least the truth would stop Esch's humiliation. 2 weeks later, they returned for the results. The doctor opened the file slowly, adjusting his glasses as his face shifted in confusion. "Mr. Fidel, according to these results, You are medically incapable of fathering a child. Silence detonated like an explosion. Zora gasped and covered her mouth with trembling hands. Fidel's eyes widened, confusion and fear storming across his face. That's impossible, he stuttered. My mother said, she said I was strong and healthy. The doctor looked directly at him. I understand this is difficult, but biologically, you cannot produce a child. Zora felt every insult, every slap of humiliation, every whispered gossip echo loudly in her mind. Tears flooded her eyes. She looked at Fidel, hoping he would comfort her. Instead, he pushed his chair back violently. This test must be wrong. I will take another test somewhere else. He stormed out, leaving Zora frozen in her chair. As she sat there, the doctor's final words rang in her ears. For absolute certainty, DNA testing may be advised within the family. Sometimes infertility can be hereditary. Her breath halted. A chilling thought crept into her chest, a thought she was too afraid to speak. What if Fidel wasn't truly his father's son? The moment they left the clinic, Fidel refused to speak to her. He walked ahead rapidly, as if distance could erase what he had heard. Zora followed quietly, her heart riding a storm of fear. She knew that if Esh discovered the results, she would be destroyed completely. When they reached home, Esh was waiting at the entrance, like a predator sensing blood. What did the doctor say? She demanded. Fidel hesitated, his lips shaking. Nothing important, he muttered. Zora could feel the heat rising in her chest. She had promised herself never to speak back, never to break respect. But something snapped inside her that day. Tell her the truth, Fidel, she said softly, but with unshakable firmness. Esh's eyes narrowed. What truth? Zora turned slowly to face her. The doctor said Fidel cannot father a child. The compound fell silent. Even the birds seemed to pause mid-flight. Esh's face twisted in shock, then fury. Lies. You are inventing stories to cover your shame. The doctor confirmed it, Zora insisted. And he said the condition might be hereditary. That means someone must take a DNA test. A deep horror washed across Fidel's face. Esh staggered backward, clutching her chest. No, she whispered. No test. No one touches this matter. Zora stepped closer. Why not, Mother Esh? What are you afraid of? Suddenly, Esh screamed, voice cracking like glass. Because you don't understand what you are asking for. The compound erupted into chaos as relatives rushed in, demanding explanations. And that was the moment Zora realized. The truth Esh hid was bigger than infertility. It was a secret that threatened the very foundation of their family. A secret that DNA would reveal, whether Esh liked it or not. The tension in the compound thickened like fog. Whispers floated through the air as neighbors and relatives gathered, curiosity pulling them closer. Fidel paced restlessly, his fingers digging into his hair. Zora stood motionless, trying to hold back tears threatening to drown her. An elder in the family, Baba Tiku, stepped forward. He was a respected man known for fairness and wisdom. Esh, he said calmly, the girl has spoken truth from her pain. If there is nothing to hide, allow the test. Let peace return to this home. Esh shook her head violently. No. I forbid it. Nobody is taking any test in this family. I will not allow strangers to tarnish our name. Fidel's voice cracked as he spoke. Mother, why are you afraid? If I am truly my father's son, then the test will prove it. Why stop it? Esh grabbed his hand desperately, her voice trembling. My son, please. Some wounds should remain buried. Some truths can destroy everything we love. But Fidel pulled his hand free. Maybe everything was destroyed long before today, Mother. Maybe we are all living in a lie. Zora wiped her tears and spoke with courage she didn't know she possessed. If you believe I am the problem, let the truth speak. I am ready for any result. Esh's sneeze weakened, and she collapsed onto a stool, breathing heavily as if the world was crushing her chest. Baba Tiku turned to the crowd. Then it is settled. Tomorrow morning we take the test. Whoever the truth favors must be protected, and whoever lied must face justice. Esh covered her face, sobbing uncontrollably. For the first time since her marriage, Zora saw fear, not hatred, in Esh's eyes. The next morning felt like Judgment Day. Silence ruled the house. Even the wind moved carefully. Fidel, Esh, and Zora traveled to the city for the DNA test. Nobody spoke in the car. The silence carried heavier weight than words. At the center, blood samples were taken. The waiting period lasted 3 excruciating days. Zora barely slept. Fidel spent most nights sitting outside under the moon, staring at nothing. Esh locked herself in her room, refusing food, refusing company. When the results finally arrived, everyone gathered in the sitting room, relatives, elders, neighbors, waiting like spectators at a trial. Baba Tiku opened the envelope with steady hands. He cleared his throat, reading slowly. According to the DNA comparison between Fidel and his father, Mr. Kalin, the probability of biological relationship is 0%. Gasps exploded across the room. Fidel staggered backward, hitting the wall as his breath broke into pieces. His eyes filled with disbelief and betrayal. Baba Tiku continued, his voice shaking. This means Mr. Kalin is not the biological father of Fidel. All eyes turned to Esh. She could no longer hide. She dropped to her knees, crying so loudly it tore through everyone's hearts. "Forgive me," she wailed. "I was young. I made a terrible mistake. I was already pregnant before I married Kalin. I was afraid of disgrace. So I hid it. I hid it all my life." Fidel stared at her, tears flowing. "Mother, all my life you called Zora useless. Yet I am the one who could never father a child, and I am the one without a true father." Esh crawled to him, clutching his feet. "I am sorry, please, my son. I was only trying to protect you." But Fidel stepped back as if her touch burned him. The compound became silent once more, but not with anger. Rather, with the weight of truth. Zora walked slowly toward Fidel, her voice steady but soft. "Fidel, I am still your wife. I did not marry you because of children. I married you because I loved you. I still do." He looked into her eyes, trembling. "After everything, do you still want this marriage?" Zora placed her hand gently over his. "We can adopt. We can build again. But first, you must forgive yourself. Your worth has never depended on blood." Fidel broke into tears, leaning into her embrace. For the first time in years, he held her tightly without fear or hesitation. Esh watched them, her face swollen with regret. She whispered brokenly, "Zora, I wronged you deeply. I called you useless, yet you are the strongest among us. Please forgive me." Zora walked to her and knelt beside her. "Pain can make us cruel. I forgive you, Mother Esh. Let this family heal." The neighbors nodded, murmurs of relief flowing like fresh rain. Baba Tiku raised his hand, voice firm. "Today, truth has cleansed this home. From this day forward, respect must replace insults, and love must replace shame." Esh held Fidel's hand and Zora's hand together, weeping softly. "Thank you for not giving up on this family." As the sun set that evening, the compound felt lighter, reborn. The storm that once shattered them had become the bridge that rebuilt them. And those scars remained. They no longer bled. They became reminders that truth may break the ground, but it is the only seed from which real love grows. And please don't forget to tap the bell so every new folktale reaches you first. Tell us in the comments what you think about the story. And tell us where you're watching from. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this beautiful story with friends, family, and loved ones so they too can